They say he's trading in his baseball cap for a cowboy hat. From major leagues to major stages, Adam Wainwright, former pitcher of the Cardinals, joins us now on WITZ. Adam, good to have you with us here bright and early.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
And, of course, we're looking forward to your show coming up next month in Fretchlick, Indiana. Wanted to ask first, I mean, obviously you're a guy that has lived traditionally by Major League Baseball, minor league, going back a long way here. What's this transition looked like to normal, everyday, and throwing a show here and there kind of life?
It is I feel like I'm definitely more busy now than I used to be, and it's a good busy. You know, I am the volunteer assistant on minimum 3, sometimes 4 athletic teams for my kids. I have 5 kids, and they're all go in different directions, and I know a lot of people know about that. But you know, I was playing a show in St. Louis this last Friday, and I flew back into my hometown on a 7 o'clock flight. I landed at 11 a.m. I landed and I went straight to the softball field. And my daughter Macy was playing a tournament there, and they ended up winning the championship. We got done at 10:42 at night, and then I got up next morning. We're straight to church, and you know, I mean, it's just like I fit in these shows and the broadcast stuff I do. I have to fit them in between all these things, which is a wonderful thing. You know, I want to be married first, dad second, and then go out and do these cool shows that I'm going to get to do in French Lick and some other cool places. But you know what they say, happy wife, happy life, and that's what I'm trying to live by right now. I'm very much enjoying being able to. Yesterday I went to the field, and the high school field, and worked with a young pitcher over there who's got some really good potential to be a great pitcher one day. And so I'm enjoying the time that I get to pick and choose and do kind of what comes natural to me, and that's coaching and raising up these kids and trying to be a good husband.
And music as well. And you kind of marry those two different worlds, if you will. Baseball, love of country music, in Time to Fly, which was your send-off from the St. Louis Cardinals, the message to St. Louis fans. What kind of emotion goes into that? I would imagine that would be a major undertaking to put into words those feelings.
That was a very fun song for me to write. You know, I always wondered what it was going to look like when I got down to the end of my career. You know, that's tried not to keep my eyes on the end. I always tried to stay present where I was. But you know, as you get older, you understand kind of your opportunity is the window is closing a little bit. I'd never tried to live in that, but it's just a fact of life, you know. And I knew when my fastball started to dip a little bit that the time was growing a little thin, and I knew when my health started to waver a little bit that my time was a little thin, and I just started becoming very appreciative of being able to play for such an amazing organization for as long as I did. The St. Louis Cardinals trading for me in 2003 was one of the biggest and most surprising blessings that I could have ever imagined, and to play for them my entire career in the big leagues was just such a blessing. And I wanted to make sure that, you know, if I was writing all these songs and trying to make a go at it, I wanted to make sure that I honored St. Louis too for the incredible impact that the city had on me, the fan base had on me, the organization had on me. I mean, I am a Cardinal for life, buddy. They're stuck with me now, you know. And so it was an honor to write that song just for the St. Louis fans, and a lot of people wondered why I didn't put that on the album, but it was because that was something that I wanted just between me and the Cardinals fans, and I was glad I got to share that moment at Busch Stadium. It was a special day.
Well, and, you know, you've had plenty of special memories at Busch Stadium. You've performed the Star-Spangled Banner there. Of course, no stranger to pressure on and off the field. And in that same vein, been on the Today Show. You joined Luke Bryan, saw a video of that, Grand Ole Opry. Do you think baseball, and specifically those high-pressure, all-eyes-on-you moments, have prepared you for the next stage in country music?
Oh, there's no question about that. I mean, it has been. I tell people this all the time. They say, "What is it like walking out onto that stage?" I mean, it just seems so nerve wracking. And then they say, "What is it like walking out onto that field? Is that just so nerve wracking?" And I think that is something that I have always craved. I always wanted the big moment. I always wanted the biggest crowd. I always wanted to have the ball in the most important game, or be up to bat in the biggest moment, or kick the field goal in the last second, or throw the pass. I always wanted that moment. But I'll tell you, there's really nothing like running onto the field of a big playoff game. The only thing that I could tell you is very, very close to it is walking out on the stage in a big show. I mean, it's just as close as there is, with the big crowd rocking. And I'll tell you, a guy who gets used to that for 20-something years playing professional baseball with a big crowd, you just don't – I tell this to people all the time. You just don't get that anywhere else except for in athletics and on the music stage. And I've been so fortunate to be able to do both. It's so fun. I'm having so much fun with it. And that's the thing. If I wasn't having fun with it, I wouldn't do it. I've gotten to the point where I want to make sure I'm a good dad and husband, but if it doesn't fit the fun factor for me, I don't have to do those kinds of things anymore. But I love it. It's so much fun. And I'll tell you, one of my favorite parts of the whole process is writing. I love writing new songs and coming up with ideas. That is so fun.
Well, and it's got to be, everyday stuff, or I'm sure, every once in a while there's that inspiration that sparks something for you. I did want to ask, as a young athlete coming up, of course, you're looking to the greats. You're taking things here and there. You're learning hand placement, delivery. Country music, I would imagine, same sort of deal. Who are some of those inspirational artists that maybe you're borrowing from or trying to model your career after?
Well, there's several guys that were big influences on me just from a music standpoint before I became a musician, and that's Garth Brooks and George Strait. Those guys were those were the two biggest influences probably I have, and then probably I would say Alan Jackson right after that. But their music is kind of what I patterned my music after. That's kind of the style that I like to write and perform. But I've gotten really good friends with Luke Bryan and Cole Swindell, and I love to watch those guys perform, get out on stage, and the way they're dancing around and keeping the entertainment going and the people on their feet. I have loved doing that. Watching them perform so much. So I have to say those guys also. But, my biggest musical influence, without question, is Gary Baker, who is my co-writer and producer. He's the one that discovered me playing at Matt Holliday's house in spring training in 2017. He's the one that kind of shepherded my writing style a little bit, kind of helped move me in the right direction as far as how to phrase things and what words sing good and what words don't sing good. And there's just a real craft to it. And Gary has helped me so much in all those regards.
Now, I know you're enjoying a little bit more of the, stay-at-home Uber role, as you said. Did Juan Soto's $760 million contract, does that change anything? Any regrets there?
Yeah, I went straight to the batting cage when I saw that. Started working on my swing again. No, he is. People want to know, like, how is that even possible? And that is, I kind of. At some point, I don't know how that's possible, honestly. I mean, that is so much money to give one player that plays, one position. For me, Shohei Ohtani is the greatest player maybe of all time if he keeps going the way he's going. He's just so talented. But to be able to pitch and play the outfield or to DH, and he can play the outfield incredible if they let him. That one made tons of sense. But I think when you look at Juan Soto's deal, he's 25 years old. He's MVP candidate every single year. He's a World Series champion. He's played in 2 World Series already. He's a batting champion. He leads the league every year in OPS. He's just a special player. I mean, there's what he does for the middle of a lineup is there's only a few guys that do that. There's only a couple guys in the game that get on base like he does, and he's 25 years old. It's just it's good. It's good for the players when players get contracts like that. So we'll see if he can live up to it, but he's certainly got the talent.
It's incredible. It really is. And since I kind of started us down the baseball path here, I did see Commissioner Manfred kind of floated the idea that golden at bat. What would you have thought if you struck out Aaron Judge, say, and then they use that golden at bat, bring him right back up to plate?
No. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of that. That's why you need balanced lineups. That's why it's just strategy involved and where you put guys in the lineup. I mean, I think it's a cool concept in theory. Like, oh, let's try to get some fans interested. It's another way to do that, and I understand all those things, and I'm for a lot of the stuff that makes the fans show up. I'm one of the biggest baseball fans. I'm a baseball nut. That's why I'm still in the broadcast game, because I just love the game. But I think when you're talking about a rule like that, look, I mean, what else to make it fair? How could you make the pitcher, get the same kind of thing? All right, he just punched out the 8-hole hitter. Can he bring back up the 8-hole hitter again, or the 9-hole hitter? And, I just don't think that that's a good change. You can't change the game itself. Let the game play out. Let the strategy of the lineups play out. Let there be managerial decisions. That's why I love the NL too, for the reasons that managers didn't just set the lineup and then see after the game. They had to actually manage the game. So I just hope we don't go too far down the road of changing the game too much.
I hope so too, and I think that's a good point. Short of giving the pitcher a slingshot or a crossbow, I don't see any way really to give that equal help on the other side. So hopefully, hopefully we won't see that. What we will see is you at French Lick January 24th. Have you been to French Lick before, by the way, kind of in the periphery of Cardinal land?
I never have, but I know it's big Cardinals country. Mm-hmm. We have had so many fans through the years tell us that they're from French Lick. It is a big Cardinal country, I know, and Larry Bird country, I know that too.
Yeah, done your research.
Oh man, I grew up with Jordan versus Bird, so that's as soon as I heard the name French Lick, I went, I know right where that is. So I'm looking forward to getting up there and seeing Indiana. I don't know if I've ever, other than crossing through a couple of times, I've never spent lots of time in Indiana. I'm looking forward to it. I know there's lots of sweet people up there, and so we're excited about it. Well,
and on your way there, if you're coming up 6040, you will pass through where I'm currently at, home of former Cardinal as well, Scott Rowland in Jasper, Indiana. Not a far drive away.
Yeah, we've been. That's one of my teammates and buddies that he's been telling me about Indiana a lot. He's told me numerous times I needed to get up there and check it out. So looking forward to it. Maybe we can get Scotty to come out to a show. What do you think?
Absolutely. Might have to give him the nudge in the right direction. That's Friday, January 24th. Adam, we appreciate the time. This is awesome, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it, boss.